Let's bring in Dan Dakich, the ESPN college basketball analyst, Continental Tire Coach's Corner, the former Bowling Green and Indiana head coach. Coach, how are you today?
Man, I'm with you. That thing was really kind of stupid. It was like, what are you doing? That whole dollar thing. I didn't get it. And if you're going to have it, you do have to kind of respect James Worthy. But I think you're selling Shane Battier a little bit short. He was involved in a lot of pretty good games.
He not James Worthy.
You can make the argument in college he might have been.
Well, he didn't play as long as Battier. Did you play against Worthy in college?
No, Worthy left. We played North Carolina 84. He was gone. 81, Indiana beat North Carolina, and I was not there. Worthy was, and I think Worthy was either a senior. What would he be, a senior, junior? I don't know, but he was gone. No, Worthy was there in 83 when they won. He got the ball from Freddie Brown. Was that 82? That was 82.
82.
Yeah. So, no, we didn't play against him. I was a freshman. He was a senior. We didn't play against him.
Who was the best player you played against?
Well, Michael Jordan was pretty good. But, there was a kid at Purdue, and it's going to sound weird. He led the Big Ten in scoring named Keith Edmondson.
Yeah. And
he was a first-round pick. Like, the way Purdue played offense, he was really, he was hard to guard. Like, Jordan, and it's going to sound stupid, but back cut, don't let him rebound, that kind of stuff, But Keith Edmondson, there's a kid named Fred Jenkins at Tennessee, was a mother to guard.
Did you guard Jordan?
Right.
Did you get to guard Jordan?
No, no. It depends who you ask. If you ask me, sure. If you ask North Carolina people, no, Dean Smith took him out, and I reaped the benefit.
Does Jordan know who you are?
Jordan got heckled I'm from just outside Chicago. Jordan and I played golf. He owed me $6,000 after the round of golf. True story, Big D. It was a day he signed his Nike contract. We were playing in 84 at the Olympic trials. Me, Alford, Timmy Knight, and Jordan. I was pretty good. He was pretty bad. We started betting, got to the 16th hole. It was dark. He ended up owing me $6,000. He tried to pay me with a bag full of free stuff from the Olympics, Dan. He tried to give me plain pocket jeans and Polaroid cameras, and I'm like, hey man, that's $6 large. You know what I mean? And he never paid. So there have been over the years, The guy who built his house was an Indiana grad, and he used to heckle. A lot of people heckle Jordan about me, but I don't know if he knows me now. Probably not.
He still owes you $6,000.
Dan, I used to write him a letter. True story. I did a basketball camp in Gary, Indiana, my high school, and I wrote him a letter every year. I knew his address. I wrote him a letter. Hey, come 15 minutes, wipes off the $6,000. I never heard back. The hell is that, Dan?
All right, let's dive into the topic here. Should Zion Williamson shut it down the rest of the season?
You always go by what you would do. I wouldn't. I would play because I like to play, but I've never been faced with the money that he's faced with, right? And I think a little bit of it depends on the knee. Dan, one of the things about a sprained knee is that that's basically an ACL. It's not great. Let me put you this way. The only way I can answer that is I would not do it because I like to play. If he did it, I wouldn't be mad at him because the world isn't 1984. The world isn't me. The world is him and all the money and that he's looking at, and it's generational. And, he's one thing that Zion Williamson has proven, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but he's proven he loves the game.
Yeah.
And he loves teammates. And he loves Duke, and he loves ball, and some guys have to prove that. He doesn't have to prove that. So if he shut it down, I would go, all right. I wouldn't blame him, but I personally wouldn't do it, and I hope he doesn't because he's just too much fun to watch.
Yeah, it's a whole different era, a whole different world. We had Patrick Ewing on First Hour, and I said, what would you do? And he said, I would play because I came there to play, and you can't sit there and think about the risk of an injury. But Patrick's old school as well because he's talking about the early 80s when he was playing. I get it, and I said the same thing. I don't blame him if he said he was going to shut it down, and I don't, I I don't blame him if he says, look, I'm going to play. This is why I came to Duke. It's his decision. It's everybody around the echo chamber that is talking about their agenda, about kids should get paid, they shouldn't have to go to college, get rid of the one and done. Like all of these things come up, and then they're just using Zion Williamson to further their crusade here.
Dan, I've been driving, and I heard your interview with Patrick, and I heard you say that about the agenda, and I damn near started applauding because everybody's trying to be the next guy, right? The next social media justice warrior, where you're the guy that, tells everybody how it is, and the NCAA is awful, and Duke stinks, and Nike's the worst. And it's all their agenda, and you're right. You're exactly right. But to me, again, if I look at it from Patrick Ewing's perspective, and you guys were so right, Patrick Ewing was the guy. Like, Patrick Ewing was going to be the first pick in the NBA draft, and truthfully, if he came out of high school, I don't know the draft. He's my age, so he came out of high school in 81. I don't know who was drafted number 1, 2, or 3 in 81. But if Patrick went out of high school, he probably was the number 1 pick then. So I appreciate what Patrick said. I really do. But I also think, hey, man, this is this kid's life.
Yeah.
This is this kid's, future. Again, he's been Dan, I would say this, and we've had this discussion among our crew on Tuesdays and Saturdays. What's the second most interesting story in college basketball other than Zion Williamson? And the answer is nobody seems to have one. It's like he's so dynamic that he's kind of swallowed it up. So from a purely selfish standpoint, I hope he comes back.
Mark Aguirre, Isaiah Thomas, Buck Williams, 1981 draft.
Well, that's a pretty good draft, actually.
No, but Ewing would still go because back then the big man was still more valued.
Right.
I mean, Isaiah was great.
I would have taken – Isaiah had such a – like, Isaiah threw the interview because he wanted his buddy to go to the first in the draft, Aguirre. He just – Isaiah's one, in my opinion. I mean, people –
Wait.
I think Isaiah's –
Wait, hold on. Isaiah threw the interview so he wouldn't be the number 1 pick?
Yeah, he threw it. He acted in such a manner that he wanted Aguirre to be the number 1 pick. They were boys, and it meant more to Aguirre. So yeah, Isaiah went into the interview, and however you throw an interview, I don't know. Usually when I'm interviewing, I'm trying to get the damn job. You know what I mean? So,
and so Aguirre goes to Dallas, number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was big to Aguirre, and it wasn't big to Isaiah. So he had a lot of respect. Like, he was going to go to DePaul, the word on the street, because of Aguirre, but he ended up saying, I'll go play for Coach Knight.
Talking to Dan Dakich, ESPN college basketball analyst, host of the Dan Dakich Show on 1070 The Fan in Indianapolis. I mentioned this first hour, so you probably heard it, but what bothered me, obviously the injury to Zion, but man, I got to have R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish step up in a big game here at home. And that's what was more alarming is everybody sort of went, now what do we do? Nobody was trying to get to the hole. You had only 2 guys who had assists on Duke's team last night. And if you make them shoot threes, you can beat them. So that, to me, was the big picture that I took away from the game last night. What about you?
Man, Dan, I did hear that. And you're so right. I mean, okay, Duke's down to only, 4 McDonald's All-Americans, 2 of the first 3 picks in the NBA draft. That's all they're down to now? Yeah. What, you can't guard? You can't sprint back on defense? You can't you said it, you can't take the ball to the rim. I heard when you said that. And, Dan, I thought the same thing. Like, look, you're at home, too, and I get it. Roy Williams, you guys have been playing Roy's take, and, okay, Roy said, all right, big deal. It is in the middle of the game, 36 seconds, whatever it was. But, man, it's time for, if you are that good, more importantly, if you are that tough and you're R.J. Barrett or you're Cam Reddish, go get 40. Like, go get fouled, get to the line 20 times. I mean, if the threes aren't going. I'm with you. It was almost like I looked at Duke and said, all right, you got this brotherhood, you got all these guys. Does everything have to go perfect for you? you lost a guy. I'm not saying they could have won because I thought North Carolina was playing at a really high level, and I thought Kobe White was really good at point guard. But and obviously Luke May was tremendous. But man, you can't run back on defense, get organized. You can't defend a little bit, like you said. Go to the rim. I was shocked by how. I don't want to say unorganized they were, but it sure seemed that way. Duke seemed like it was like a glorified AAU game from their side of it. It just wasn't what Duke should be about, even if they lose a guy.
Are you going to the Final Four?
I think so. I don't have my schedule yet from ESPN. I usually do the slam dunk contest and hang out. Yeah, I hope so.
Well, why didn't you respond to my text yesterday?
Because it's Wednesday, and my wife on Wednesdays dictates that we do something with each other and we put our phones away. So I didn't see any text messages till today.
But so you didn't text me today?
Well, I knew I was going to talk to you, Dan, and I thought, you know what, I'll talk to you here. But that is bad of me. I usually am a pretty good returning text, particularly to superstars in the industry.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I bend the knee, I genuflect you and the Danettes.
But you've been calling out the Danettes, though. You've been calling out the Danettes for their lack of shoot and vice versa. So we're going to be in Minneapolis, and there's a couple of Danettes, McLovin and Seton, who would like a piece of you.
I've seen McLovin shoot. There is a little bit of trepidation by me. Seton, I don't know. I've not seen him shoot. I think he was the poster child for only Dan Patrick shoots on the Dan Patrick show. But I have Seton. I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm right. But I tell you what, every once in a while, McLovin will post a video where he stares me down on Twitter. And drills a shot from about 26 feet. And Dan, I must say, it is intimidating. And I immediately go out to my driveway and get a couple jump shots, and then my shoulder hurts, and I go back inside and drink beer.
Well, we're going to be in Minneapolis, and if you want to stop by, we'll, and it doesn't matter the weather. I mean, we play in conditions. We're from the Midwest. We're hardy souls. We play. We'll shovel off the driveway if we need to.
This I can guarantee you. And I know you have Reggie Aloysius Miller on your show, and he lit me up my final game in college in the Garden. But I will say this. I don't care if it's Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Michael Jordan, Dan Patrick, McLovin, Seton, anybody. I am the best in-the-dark shooter in America. I don't care. So if you want to go somewhere, shoot at night, play in the dark, shoot in the dark gym, I will take anybody on anytime, anywhere, and go from there. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so the lights are completely out?
If you can see the rim, I can beat you. But if it's however dark you want it to be.
Well,
but if we can see the rim,
okay,
you got to be able to see the rim, and maybe even not see the rim. Hell, I don't know. I mean, I just know this: if the lights are out, I am the best shooter in America. And I will challenge anybody to that.
Okay. This is what I'll do for you. I will go into the gym prior to your arrival and shoot the lights out, and then you can come in. Okay?
Oh, I see what you did there.
My nickname was the electrician in high school because I would shoot the lights out. I'd turn the lights out.
Oh, you should have stopped the other one. You should have stopped before that one. Hey, I do have to say, I like your commercials, though. I do like your commercial. You've become like, I don't know, you've become like the Allstate guy. You're everywhere. Every time I turn my TV on, you're on a freaking commercial about tires and twine and coach. It's unbelievable. It's awesome. It's fun.
Thanks for coming on, and I'll check back in with you. Not that you'll get back to me, because obviously you're pretty important, but hopefully we'll see you at the Final Four.
That will never happen again. I'm going to go have a talk with myself.
Who do you love more, me or your wife?
Oh, I have to say my wife. I've been through one divorce. That cost me a lot of money. I can't afford a second one.
But you know what? Your first wife took your jump shot, so that's a shame. She got your jump shot.
Jump shot was the least. That was the least of the things she took.
Thank you, bud. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
That's
See you.
Dan Dakich, former coach, played for Bob Knight. He still has a sense of humor, and he played for Bob Knight. I think you have to have a sense of humor if you play for Bob Knight. Former college coach as well, now working for ESPN as a college basketball analyst. Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Continental Tire for what you do.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.